Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video I'll be going over another 10 must-have legendary weapons at level 65. With so many awesome legendaries in the game now, it's hard to know what to farm for first, and this is another great selection of legendaries that you'll want in your end game builds. If there's still some I missed, let me know in the comments and maybe we'll see a part 3. I'll be telling you where you can get them, what's unique about them, and how you can squeeze out all of their damage potential. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and let's crack into it. We open this showcase of 10 more must-have weapons at level 65 with the Beacon, a DLC 3 melee wand pistol that must be charged before firing, and has an increased chance to drop from Jarek Logan you fight around in this area of Bloodsun Canyon. The Beacon is what the Super Ball wishes it was. It fires elemental orbs at a rapid rate that deals splash damage on impact. Their splash radius isn't high, but it's big enough to damage multiple enemies if they're standing close together. It takes a lot of its learnings from the base game Hellshock: high fire rate, nice mag size, good elemental damage, but does much of it better. It hits about as hard with a bigger mag size, and you can tap into its splash damage factor to reap even more rewards. It's not limited to just the one elemental pair either, it can come in all of them, and because it's a melee one gun, you can change between them at will. It blasts its way through enemies quicker than the bullets fly from its barrel, and it's especially effective on Moes, who can enhance its damage output. You'll never go wrong bringing it to the fight, and it will take down mobs and bosses with equal efficiency. Now to the gun that shoots invisible fists, the Face Puncher, a unique Hyperion shotgun that has an increased chance to drop from Moldok the Anointed, who you can find here in Floodmoor Basin. The Face Puncher is an incredible gun that can deal monstrous amounts of damage, but not without a little help. That's because it doesn't deal gun damage but melee damage, and because of that, it can seem lackluster. Pair it up with the White Elephant and Brawler Ward shield though, and you'll be wielding the Deathbringer in your hands. In that combination you'll see it annihilate enemies. Each of its 7 pellets has a chance to attach sticky bombs to whatever you hit thanks to the White Elephant, and when your shields are depleted the Brawler Ward will boost its damage by 300%. It doesn't matter which Vault Hunter you rock either, it'll deal great damage for anyone that builds around it. If you want to drop bosses with it or one-shot pretty much every mob, then look out for a redundant version which fires double the pellets at double the ammo consumption, but any Face Puncher will get you started down the path of melee madness. Moving on now to the Sandhawk, a powerful sniper rifle that can be obtained the quickest from Katagawa Jr., but only if you're on Mayhem 6 or above, and you can find him here atop the skyscraper in Atlas HQ. There's almost nothing in the game that can live up to the DPS potential of the Sandhawk, firing 7 pellets that personify a flying Harrier, each dealing close to 20k damage. You'd be fine with that in a bolt action sniper, but the Sandhawk doesn't want any of that, with the option to come fitted with a fully auto firing mode, and that's the one I'd be aiming for, although it is often overkill against mobs, which I'm avoiding using here. Mobs are simply no match for it though. Holding down the trigger for a fraction of a second will see the weak turn to dust. Each shot impacts with heavy force, and no mob will survive sustained fire. That is, if you can sustain it. The biggest drawback for the Sandhawk is its incredible ammo consumption, almost as incredible as its damage. It consumes 3 ammo per shot, and with the limited sniper rifle ammo pool, coupled with its fire rate, you won't be able to run it on high for very long. However, it'll often last long enough to defeat a tough boss, or get you back up if you go down. Up next, the Breath of the Dying, which saw yet another buff at the beginning of this month, and has an increased chance to drop from Blinding Banshee, who you find here in Desolation's Edge. It always comes in corrosive, fires at a high rate of knots, with a good magazine size, and handles incredibly well. Although you might see its limited element as a downside, it does that job extremely well, tearing through armor like it wasn't even there. and it certainly doesn't lack damage against the other enemy types. That's in large part to its raw damage. It doesn't care if it's weaker against shields, it'll drain them down too. Aside from its general well-roundedness, it also has a unique effect that causes each enemy you kill to projectile vomit a radial burst of orbs that expand from the kill site. Yes, the Breath of the Dying is deadly in concentrated forms. The orbs deal splash damage over a decent radius and will down you if you're not careful. It is a neat effect that can deal big damage to whomever they hit, and you'll often see enemies burst apart if they're close together. Aside from that, its typical damage is reliably high and won't have you reaching for breath spray. Moving on up is the Proprietary license, a Hyperion SMG exclusive to DLC 4 that can come in any of the elements and has an increased chance to drop from Hydragoian, who you find here in the Obsidian Forest. The Proprietary license shouldn't really work, but it does. It just does. It behaves like someone took the source code from pretty much every manufacturer, merged them all together, and somehow got it to run. It's a dull gun that's not a dull gun. A Jacobs gun that isn't made by Jacobs. It's made by Hyperion and merges the traits of the former, firing in a no delay 5-round burst firing pattern and ricocheting shots on critical hits. It also attaches stickies to your target for each shot you land, and when you piece all that together, you get a powerful SMG that is wholly unique. The main brunt of its damage is dished out the standard way, with the stickies applying a bit extra, and the ricochets sharing a little more around. It hasn't mastered one form of damage dealing, instead opting for learning them all, and that certainly has taken it a long way. Peekaboo, it's the Backburner, an elemental alien barreled launcher that, like all Mayhem 6 Plus weapons, can be obtained from the Guardian Takedown bosses, but you'll have a better time farming the Agonizer 9000 you fight around here at the end of Guts of Carnivora. The Backburner comes in every element, consumes 3 ammo per shot, and fires a single large elemental orb, which unleashes a deadly sequence of attacks once they impact. When they land, a singularity will open up, sucking in any nearby enemies before showering them with deadly Merv grenades. These grenades are responsible for the brunt of its damage, and they hammer the surrounding area. Because of the way they arc out of the impact zone, its damage area is large and it will obliterate mobs over a wide vicinity. It's great no matter who you play as: Amara with their elements, Moze with the splash damage, Flak with the criticals, and Zane can get it firing 2 for 1 thanks to playing dirty. It takes on hordes of enemies with ease, drops bosses too, and is perfect to pull out when you want to end the screaming and finally get back to some peace and quiet. Who's that on the dance floor? It's the Chaos, another powerful dual assault rifle, which has an increased chance to drop from the Psycho Billies. They're all crazy and all called Billy, who you fight if you dare beneath the waterfall here in the Ambermire. The Chaos, like the Breath of the Dying, received a buff earlier this month, but unlike the BOTD, it received its first, which catapulted it out of the realm of mediocre and into the land of the gods, or it got a lot better. On the surface, it's a standard assault rifle, high fire rate, great handling, and can come in all the elements except radiation. But what's hidden within is revealed once you get its first kill under your belt. People don't just die when you kill them with the Chaos, they explode into smithereens, never to be recognized again, as though they were never there in the first place. The explosion is fused with whatever element it comes in, and they're not small either. They're massive and deadly, big enough and powerful enough to destroy multiple enemies. However, if your target dies by anything other than a bullet from it, they won't explode. This is often caused by a damage over time effect, making cryo a dependable option. Now for the Prompt Critical, a DLC 4 exclusive pistol that has an increased chance to drop from Evil Lilith. You fight here at the end of Crimson Castle. The Prompt Critical deals heavy splash damage and is available in all the elements, including non-elemental. Its all-round stats are great and are built upon well by its unique effect. The effect in question causes consecutive stuck stickies to increase the size and damage of the upcoming explosion. It's nothing like what the Chaos produces, but does add the icing to an already great cake. It does come with an impact mode too, but in using that you miss out on the bonus it has to offer. It's just classic Torgue firepower in a small package. The power it unearths is mammoth, particularly on a splash damage modes build where there's just explosions everywhere. Often you'll feel like you'll need to pump some more into your target before the reload effect puts a halt to that and they disintegrate in front of your very eyes. Overall, it's a great gun that packs a mighty punch. Moving on now to the Reflux, a Hyperion shotgun dedicated to mobbing that can be obtained the quickest from Genevieve if you're on Mayhem 6 or above, and you fight her way at the end of the crashed ship here in Voracious Canopy. The Reflux is a crowd thinner, a pack clearer, a group condenser. It's made to turn 5 guys into no guys without needing to change your aim. That all comes from its unique effect, which, like the Brainstormer, causes deadly chain links to sprout out from the enemy you're shooting at and bind themselves to another that's standing nearby. The love is then shared around some more, and soon enough everyone is holding hands in a cluster of corrosive cataclysm. The damage that comes from its unique effect grows with the more enemies caught in the chain, and it'll absolutely shred through health bars when you're up against a big enough pack. Its damage one-on-one is decent enough too, but it definitely promotes a mobbing mentality and rewards you well for it. We end with the Calcin, an explosive dial SMG that, other than dropping from the Guardian Takedown bosses, can be obtained faster by defeating Captain Traunt, who you fight at the very end of Athenas, but he will only drop it if you're on Mayhem 6 or above. The Calcin, like the Backburner and Reflux, was brought to us alongside the Mayhem 2.0 patch, and is of the same high caliber. It fires quickly with a quick reload time, but is let down by its poor accuracy and handling, making it much better while aiming. It deals damage in 2 key stages, both of which deal a good chunk. That pattern consists of pelleting your enemies with sticky grenades, which detonate in a crescendo of explosive symphony a few moments later. The gap between when they impact and when they explode is a nice thing, as they can often cover you for dealing damage when you reload, and it's even long enough for you to crit swap and boost their damage by over 400%. It's a great gun in everyone's hands, but certainly best on Moze, who can enhance its explosive prowess. She can also make great use of a consecutive hits anointment, which will see you reaching its peak damage cap and staying there. In that combination, it'll blow away the toughest of opponents and leave your ears ringing from all the carnage you cause. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of another 10 must-have legendaries at level 65. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.